Well, good afternoon, Javed. Thank you so much for coming. So before we go around to your report and the questions, we're just going to introduce ourselves so that, well, you have a better idea of who is scrutinizing you, I guess. So we've met. I'm Na, chair of this scrutiny panel, student trustee, and an engineering student. So I'll hand over to Sophie. Sure.
Hi Jared, I'm Sophie. I'm a second year psychology student and the current Women's Liberation Chair at the university.
Hi, I'm Judith. I'm a third year marketing management student and also the president of the Marketing Society.
Hi, Yabed. I'm Hari. I'm a second year criminology study.
Great, wonderful. Now that we're all introduced. So moving on to your report, I suppose the first question that we have for you is that, well, we want to know why isn't there more detail in some of, well, in your report in general. So in particular with the look at your main campaigns. So you've highlighted, what campaigns you're doing, your aims, the RAG rating, but then in your notes, we would like to see some more information on what's actually been happening. So yeah, I think that's my first question. Why isn't there any more detail in some of your notes?
If you can let me know in which notes you want more details, so maybe I can pick from the specific area.
Sure. Well, generally for all of them, but okay, let's start with, all right, your mental health awareness campaign. So you've listed out, for example, the aims of what the campaign is meant to do. But then in the updates, you've written that, you're in conversation with Chris Shelley. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we'd like to know more about, some of the plans that you want to take. You can never be too vague with you can never be too over the top with these. We'd love to see a lot more detail from you. Like, even if it seems unimportant, we'd like to know as much as we can from, what you're working on, and how, we'll be able to see it. So if we take mental health awareness campaign, for example, tell us about how that campaign is going and what you've done so far.
Yeah, sure. So if we start from the mental health awareness campaign, so basically right now I'm working on Green Week and sustainability and some other reactionary work is also, obviously I can't work on every areas at the same time. So that's why right now I'm focusing more on sustainability and Green Week campaign and other campaign. And for the mental health ambassador campaign, I'm just in conversation with the university with Chris Shelley and Tanya, because they already have one plan for mental health ambassador scheme, but it's still under progression. So I'm just talking with them and exploring how they're planning, and if there's anything or the way I envisioned, is it the same way? If it's not the same way, I'll just contribute to them. So I just had a meeting with Chris Shelley last week, and in the following week, I'll have another meeting with Tania and other staff of the team, and I can, I'll explore in more details. And so the outline is I'm focusing on the other campaigns and events at the moment, and I'm still exploring more things around mental health ambassador schemes.
Okay. And we'll get to some of your other campaigns a little bit later, especially with Green Week. But even if we use Green Week as an example, it's a similar thing that I'm seeing in your report. So, for example, that's a project that you're working on right now, coming up for the first week of November.
You hear if you require more details. So obviously this is one of my first scrutiny panel, the second one. So I didn't realize that it will be better to give more details. So if you require more details from the next ones, I'll try to provide as much details as possible. Yeah.
Great. That's what I want. More details, especially for the next one. Because looking at, for example, the campaigns that you're working on, there's some really, really good things in here. And I know that students would like to see these things pushed further. And something that would help us is to be able to actually see what it is that you plan to do, so that we can, have a look to see if you're working up towards that. And if there's anything that we can do to expand that body of work for you. So definitely for your next report, as much detail as possible. I would love to read it. I think I'll hand over to Sophie for the next question.
Hi. For your next question, what is in your report? You say that some things are on hold and is stopping you from progressing. Like, for example, your mental health awareness campaign. You say for some of your points they're on hold. Could you further explain why they're on hold? What problems have you encountered while looking at these points?
Let me just quickly open my file as well so I can see the areas I put on hold. Yeah.
I'm happy to read out your points to you if that helps at all.
Yeah, no, it's right. I already opened it. So about the mental health awareness campaign, and these 3 points: exploring opportunities for mental health ambassadors and support networks. Then second one is increase the number of counselors. And the last one, interactive online resources for the well-being with signposting and campus. The first one, obviously, I'm still in conversation with the university to provide mental health ambassador schemes and other support networks. And the second one, with the mental health counselors. So obviously, it's the same. It is in the same campaign as mental health. So if initially I can secure the first one, then I can talk with the second one and the third one. And what I have learned in my last few months that we don't really need to increase mental health counselors right now. Instead, if we have mental health ambassadors and other supports, maybe it will be more helpful or more impactful. So that's why I just put it on hold, and I'm focusing on and other important areas that will be more impactful than to improve just counselors. So this is one of the reasons why it's on hold. And the third one, interactive online resources, is on hold because if we can implement the mental ambassador schemes and support network first, then my plan was to these mental health ambassadors and this support network will provide support in the online resources as well, or in online platform as well. So if first I can secure mental health ambassadors, then I can make them to work on the online platform as well. So this is the reason the last one is hold as well.
Okay. Thank you. And just another question, just on that. When you say here for your mental health ambassadors, is what specifically do you want to do with that in sort of more the GSU itself and the wider body of the students?
So do you want me to explain how I wanted to be the mental health ambassador schemes? Yeah, so what I initially wanted when I campaigned for mental health ambassador schemes is to recruit students from psychology background like yourself, or other students or who have knowledge on mental health and these areas. So we'll recruit some of the students as in mental health ambassadors, and throughout the year they will raise awareness around mental health issues, and the issues generally students, especially young students, ignore, and at the end they suffer. So maybe by arranging some events or doing some activities, and obviously to create some support networks in 4 faculties, and these ambassadors will facilitate those support networks and help the students who require support regarding mental health. And some of these ambassadors, mental ambassadors, will also work on the online interactive platform as well. If anyone asks any questions or if you need any help, they can come there. And obviously a lot of the issues that only the mental health ambassadors themselves can solve or resolve, and the students don't really need to go to counselors, because students or people go to counselors when the situation is really severe or really bad. And so on that time, if they see that it's really required, on the time the mental ambassadors can refer those students to the counselors. And also there was another idea I had about the mental health ambassadors, that I campaigned about EC, extraordinary circumstances, when you don't have any evidence. So my colleague Neil and me are currently working on this area, and we'll continue working after in the coming weeks regarding the EC and self-certification. So if any of the students are suffering from any of the mental health related issues, and but they also suffered in their assignments and exams, they got bad grades, but they don't have any evidence of their suffering. So those students can come to our ambassadors or one of our support networks, and those ambassadors can justify or can write on behalf of the students to the EC committee, and that can be also approved. So these are some of the things that I want the ambassadors should do, and obviously the university have a lot of plan regarding this. So I'm still exploring if the university have other use for the ambassadors. Yeah. Hope these answer your questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
I've got a question for you in regards to your cultural awareness campaign. So I can see that you've got 3 aims that you're trying to fulfill, but 2 of those are just on progress, and it doesn't really say what does that mean. So what are you trying to do? When is it meant to happen? And just in general, what actions are you taking to fulfill those aims? Sorry, I think you're muted.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
So just to let you know, the Green Week will be on the first week of November, and for other some reactionary work, I was quite really busy in the last few weeks, and will be busy in the coming as well. And so I plan to do the cultural awareness campaign in more details in next year on February, because on 21st of February is International Mother Language Day, and I thought that it will be really good to organize all the events around that day, that time. So the International Mother Language Day will be more. We can celebrate International Mother Language Day, and we can celebrate other things at the same time. So that's why some of the things I put on progress or on hold until next year February. But the third point about the English language learning, English language workshops or course, we have already secured 6 sessions with the academic skills team with the university. So these 3 English language or informal English language workplace workshop will take place in the last 3 weeks of November, and some of the staff from the academic skills and some of our global Greenwich ambassadors will facilitate this course. So this one is done, and the other cultural awareness campaign or events, some of the events we are planning to do it at this year, but majority of the events will take place in February next year. Yeah, hope this answer your questions. If you have any other question, just feel free to ask.
I do have some more. You just said you secured 6 sessions for your English language learning.
Yep.
So how are you trying to promote that? How do you want students to find out about it?
Oh, great question. Thank you. So obviously, I hope you know that GSC have launched Global Greenwich Center. So it will be physical, and it will have physical and online presence, and in all 3 campuses. So obviously we will try to promote it from Global Greenwich Center, and also we have our GSU social medias, and also we have our emailing list to the students as well, and the university will also promote it from their side. Also they will keep it in the in their website as well, and obviously officers and myself, we will also promote it in our social media and throughout our networks as well. And probably, and I'll reach out some of the cultural societies that majority of the students are international, to reach them and to take help from them to reach the international students who need support in terms of the English language development.
Okay, thank you. And just, I think that's not necessarily a question, but just in general, because you said you have a lot of events that you want to do for the international nature of the university. and you're planning to do all of that in February, that's why you put it on, I would say, more on hold than on progress. But do you have any specific details on what you're planning to do? Because I know it's quite far, but it's still on the top of your main campaigns. Sorry, you're muted again.
Yeah, so since I have organizing or planning this around the International Mother Language Day, so obviously there will be more element of celebrating languages of different language, and there will be element of showcase of films, international films, and maybe food festivals and all the stuff that international to make international students feel comfortable here.
Okay, thank you.
Just to let you know, we are still working on winter celebration this year. So for those students who stays in accommodation on the winter, I mean on Christmas time, so mostly we are hoping that there will be international students. So we're still planning this one to give to provide something for winter celebration, and yeah.
So that's part of your cultural awareness campaign as well, yeah?
No, that's not part of my cultural awareness campaign, but that's on top of it's something new came up. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for answering the questions.
Hi, my question is how have you developed Greenwich Students Union Society so far, and what do you plan to do in the future?
Yeah, so how I developed the society so far. So far, I've been involved in many societies directly, and helping them planning and promoting all their activities. Not all their activities. Most of the time, when it comes to my attention, I try to promote it on my social media. And this week, later this week, I'll go in live from my Instagram with Penguin Society, and in the following week I'll schedule some more lives and promotional activities with other societies as well. So this is how I'm so far helping them to promote. And in terms of development, I have reviewed the training modules for the committee members for both societies and sports teams, so they are up to date now. And also from the staff side, we'll provide more support throughout the year. And we also have a one big MS Team group chat where we will try to improve the engagement, or try to create engagement within the society leaders. And for the cultural societies, we already have kept an amount for funding for all the cultural societies from Global Greenwich Center. And what else? Yeah, so that's all the information. Do you have any other questions or any follow-up questions here?
Okay, I think Mary might be done with that question, unless, oh, I mean, she's free to definitely come back with another question if she has one. Okay, so moving on to really the last sort of set of questions, before we open up to anyone else who has any more questions, is going back to your Green Week plans, because you're the sustainability person. Sustainability is like your number one driving force, and I'm actually very excited to see what it is that you're going to be doing for Green Week. So, if I bring up your report on my screen. Okay, great. So I'm seeing that you've got some great aims that have been set up for that week. So, for example, the conference, the bicycle scheme, recruiting an eco team student chair. So I kind of want to know what's the actual planning that's been done for these things. So, for example, I think you said you scheduled the conference for the first week of September. for the bicycle scheme, or for you've already started looking into funding and other things, and then also for your meet at the 7th of October. So I just want to know what's been the planning like for these things, and if there is any more things that have happened towards making this week a success.
Yeah, so far in the Green Week we have different activities in these 5 days, and I'm doing the Green Week the University of Greenwich Sustainability team. So they'll have some events and activities in that week, and I'll also organize some of the events and activities on that week as well. So as part of my campaign, I'm organizing one sustainability conference, which includes or consists 3 events. So one of the events will be at Medway, the first day, which will be on climate change, and I'm going to do it in collaboration with the climate change course. So it's a newly launched course. I hope not knows about this. So last year when I was a green ambassador, I promoted that course, and it's doing good. And so this year I'm just trying to make a conference on climate change, which will be obviously raise awareness regarding climate change, and also will be a good platform to promote the course as well. And then I'm going to arrange another conference at Greenwich, which will be on green finance. And so this conference, I'm arranging it in collaboration with Economics and International Business Department and Accounting and Finance Department. So I'm already in conversation with them. We're just, finalizing the event structure and all the stuff. And the last event will be with NUS, Student Organizing Sustainability UK, or in other words, SOS UK. So that will be with the one of the staff of NUS, and this will be about what NUS does in terms of sustainability, and all the great things they have done so far, and also how Greenwich students can get involved with them. So these are all the events ideas. So that will be in 3 different days. One of them will be online, and 2 of them will be in campus. So one at Greenwich, one at Medway. And then on Green Week, I'm also planning to record some eco tips for sustainability, and I'm also hoping that my officers team will be involved in these activities. And then about the bicycle schemes, I'm already in conversation with the university to provide me funding, and they're still yet to come back to me with their responses. And what else about the eco team? So the day after tomorrow, on 7th of October, we have the first meet and greet for this year, from 4 to 5, and I believe we're already promoted this on Eco Team Greenwich, and I have also promoted it on my social media, and some other people promoted it. And then in this meet and greet, we'll talk about the restructure of the current Eco Team, and if all the members are agreed, obviously we'll do it in a democratic process. So if all the members are agreed with the restructure, then we'll go forward with the restructure, and we'll continue making engagement on sustainability from there.
Okay, this is what I mean. This is all good information that I would have loved to have seen in the report, because clearly you thought about these things. Okay. So I think probably the last question on this side would be, okay, if you tell me a bit more about the bicycle scheme and what you hope to achieve with that, and then also what would happen, for example, if you didn't get that funding from the university, because like you said, they haven't gotten back to you yet. So what's the plan for that if that doesn't go through?
Well, so the University of Bolton, so they currently run a bicycle scheme. So I got really inspired by their scheme as well. So I wanted to imitate something similar like them. So that will be like, you can hire a bike for part term, or you can purchase a bike from us for by paying all the expenses, and the university will provide those funding with some of the bike companies who provides bicycles. So this was the initial idea, and obviously the university is yet to get back to me with their responses. So if it's successful, if they agree, then obviously it will happen, and if they don't agree, on that time, probably I'll try to get the funding from somewhere else. But I'm quite hopeful that the university will get back to me. And so what I think you also asked what I'm trying to achieve with this scheme, right? Yeah. So obviously, that because of climate change and because of sea level rise and, because of increasing carbon dioxide, the sea level is rising, and a lot people from the coastal area, a lot of the people, they're losing their house every day, and it will continue losing. And obviously there are many adverse effect on the environment as well, and carbon dioxide is one of the main reason for this. So, and we have almost 20,000 or 20,000 plus students at Greenwich, and we, on our daily basis, we use bus, cars, and other vehicles which produce carbon dioxide. So if we can, implement a bicycle scheme, and if our students start using bicycles, so that will help from the University of Greenwich to reduce the carbon dioxide footprint. And so obviously there will be less ice melting, and there will be less people who will lose their home, and less effects as well. So this is one of the things I want to achieve. And also obviously bicycling or cycling is a great exercise, and it will help the students to get fit as well. So, and obviously if you're fit, if you're healthy, you have a better mental health. So it interrelated with everything. So this is the things I'm just trying to achieve with the bicycle scheme.
Cool. All right. And then because of course our time is slowly drawing up, I just had one more question from earlier with your English language learning scheme and cultural awareness, and of course you also mentioned the Global Greenwich Center, and I've also noticed that Attica as well is working on a global village campaign. So have you thought about maybe collaborating with her on some of those points to see what you can get done together?
Yeah, we had a brief conversation about collaboration, but we haven't talked in details. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, if there's a scope or chance to collaborate, definitely we will do that. Yeah.
All right, it'd be nice to see.